Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Kavalkade titled Deathwish. And if we switch over to here, we have Music Be Up. I'm going to load the album art so you can check that out. Here we go. So that's the album art or the single art for Kavalkade Deathwish. Pretty dope. And we're going to be listening through this track from start to finish and hearing what we think. Let's go. Instantly heavy as hell, dude. I'm loving how much energy and excitement there is in the very first few seconds of the song. There's no intro call whatsoever, straight into the crux of it, no messing around. Excellent fill there. It's nice, it's giving me a Children of Bodom vibe for some reason. I really enjoy having these lead guitar lines on top of the rhythm so soon. It's nice to have that lead line guiding you along with everything else. It's nice and tight as well. Oh shit, that's tight. Nice. That's a lovely distortion tone on those guitars as well. Sometimes you can completely ruin a song with the wrong sort of tonality to it, but the textures are fantastic. Oh man, this is quite professional actually. I'm quite impressed with this.
It's all over. This must be time. Some in one end of the war and love. Rude awakening. My eyes they play. Trapped in a foot of privilege.
Yeah, no, the vocals are interesting. I'm liking the texture of it. And again, I'm trying not to make too many comparisons of bands actually, because this isn't fair. This is Cavalcade we're talking about, you know. I love the grittiness and the vocal technique there is done well. I think it's nice and resonant within the mix. It sounds fairly brutal. I'm not sure if I'm getting everything that's coming through in terms of the words nice and clearly, but that's totally fine. It's all right. I've listened to a lot of music like this. You don't always hear everything the first time. I'm sure we'll get more of it through the chorus and stuff.
In the end, should have done the good.
Lovely change there with these lower power chords. This is one of the seriously, is one of the fucking catchiest hooks that I've heard in a song in this genre I've reviewed in such a long time. This is fired. I'm loving this. This is one of my favorite types of music. I'm getting sorry, I said I wasn't going to compare. I'm getting massive arch enemy vibes. Arch enemy vibes from that band, like with their vocal style and comparisons that are really colorful melodic lead lines and the drums and everything. Oh, it's scintillating. Holy crap, man. And it's only the first 2 minutes. There's been so much that's happened, so much that's occurred. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with this. I'm trying not to show bias, but it's just something within this track is resonating within me. When this type of music, this metal, when it's played well, it's just golden. You can't go wrong with it. Especially when there is this amount of color and like the different lead melodies and everything like that, which contrasts well to the growls and the vocals and everything. You know, even if you get people who are not necessarily massive fans of the vocal style, you can appreciate everything else and be like, yeah, no, I understand that even though if I don't necessarily like the vocal style, I think this is a dope track. It's got a hell of a lot of kick to it, both literally and, you know. Holy shit, I love this dude. It's glorious. I think what makes this so powerful is that you've got the instruments in sync with the vocals. Like, you're not having the guitars really go outside of that in the lead section. You got these backing vocals as well coming together with everything. And it's an anthem, dude. It's an anthem. It's one of the few times I've said that, but genuinely, imagine this live. Imagine listening to this live, dude. It'd be going nuts. There. Nice reverb tail on this section. Some beautiful arpeggios. Good. I was really hoping they would have some development and a little bit more a little more speed on this solo there, because we had plenty of time of trying to play ball with the kicks and everything with the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, getting some 16th legato runs in there, or economy picked, whatever, if you want to go for that kind of. It helps. It's a nice change. Harmonized lead guitars. It's phenomenal. That's a hell of a way of finishing a solo. Back to the vocals, cool. It's like I'm hearing bits of it like "betray again," and I'm trying my best to understand what's being said. And I don't think that he's necessarily. I think he's a great vocalist. No, I completely understand why this vocal style is being used, and I think the technique is good. Occasionally the vocals sound a little bit quiet in the mix. That's good. I think one of the things that I love and I'm kind of sad about is I think the vocalist or whoever was doing the mixing and mastering on this has just allowed maybe a little too much dynamic range in the vocals, just because when you've got those growly kind of screamy vocals, you need to be kind of pushing them a little bit so that they're nice and present in the mix. And I think like in parts where like we're really going at it, really pushing ourselves, again with good vocal technique, because you don't want to ruin your vocal cords. Like in that last part going into this instrumental section here, I could hear it clearly, but in some parts of the verses, it was just a little bit tricky. And it's really hard to mix this kind of stuff. That was dope. Fantastic work there. Excellent. So, I mean, I guess it's... hey, I wish that, like, Music Beat, right, would, like, actually just pause when I tell it to pause, because sometimes it's just like, haha, no, we're going to play a completely unrelated song after that one and put the review off the rails. But anyways, that was a Kavalkade's Deathwish. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this track. I know at some points I may have been... not as positive, just not necessarily because I feel it. Aside from the things I said about the vocals in terms of the leveling of them in the mix and like not hearing a lot of the lyrics, I don't necessarily consider those inherently bad things. Again, with a lot of music within like metal with the growly, screamy vocals, it's often a little bit tricky to hear what's being said. Just because you've got that extra kind of vocal fry in there and it can kind of distort things a little, and that's part of why it sounds so cool. But like, if we go through the conclusion as a whole, because there's a lot of positives within this track that I want to discuss. Basically, I mean, usually I start what I think the song is about. I didn't get a whole lot from the story of the lyrics, but the very small parts that I heard were about like betrayal and stuff like that. And with the title Deathwish, I can assume that maybe someone betrayed someone, so therefore they were signing a death wish or something like that, and they maybe pushed their luck a little bit too far and someone got screwed over and it's like a revenge or something like that. Again, I could be wrong, but I want to at least have a go of what I heard or what I understood. I also want to note that this is maybe something where I need to like maybe listen to it with different headphones, or even just listen to it without reviewing it, because sometimes it's not just like rock and metal where it's just like with rap music, for example, when someone's rapping incredibly quickly, if I'm reviewing it, I often don't get everything in the first listen just because there's so much being said, right? So it's fine, but that's what I think the track is about. It has replay value, I think, not only because I want to understand more, and I will listen to the song again later on because I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, but the replay value not only comes from from sort of wanting to understand what the song is about, but also because I think that the vocals, despite what I've said, added a fantastic element to the mix that I think lifted it to the next level. Like, I genuinely believe that the song would have been like killer on its own as an instrumental, but I still think that having that singer at the front, that frontman there, was a really smart move, because it just gave that little bit of extra direction there. That little bit of extra formality in a song this brutal, it's just really important, because no matter how great you are as a guitarist, a bassist, as a drummer, if you don't have someone guiding you through a song, people will get lost and they won't know what's happening. And, you know, for people who are maybe not as patient, especially if this is a first listen or a first impression, they might just tune out. And that's a shame, because, again, this is a fantastic song. The structure of the song was inherently interesting to me. We had different choruses and different verse parts. We had lots of little guitar solos, and little I mean as in like, I mean that in a nice way, in like a kind way. I don't mean that in a way that's facetious. Little as in we didn't just let this become an ego trip for the lead guitarist, you know. There was a classiness to the way we approached these lead passages. I think that having the harmonized guitars at the end for that big development and the sort of the outro, the final bit before the final chorus, was a smart move. And we had a steady level of heaviness with all the instruments, but we gave and took in regards to the complexities of the harmonies and the ranges and the frequency spectrums that we approached. You know, we had lots of stuff in the low end occasionally, and then we were more balanced with like the cleaner backing vocals in the chorus, you know. And I suppose in regards to the instrumental performances, that is one of the I must emphasize this. That is genuinely one of the catchiest hooks I've heard in a really long time, especially within the rock and metal stuff that I review. I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. I love it to pieces, and I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. I'm Kavalkade. You ought to be proud of yourselves. I'm not doing that to be nice. I mean that. That's hell of a hook. The guitar, bass, and drum parts. I like the tone of the drums, and I think they were played I think they sounded really great. There were some interesting drum fills in there, and I like the transitions between parts on that, really steady. The guitarists were sensational, and there was a lot of life to those guitar parts. You could tell they've been produced really, really well. Some of the best sounding guitars actually I've heard during these reviews from the albums I've done. I adore it. I'm not joking. I think the bass was definitely present there. There was not a lot of time where the bass was by itself, just because there was like a lot going on throughout most of the track, but at the same time, I appreciate that the bass was acting as a foundation for it. I think that did what it needed to do in order to support everything else. And in regards to the recording, mixing, and mastering, I think it's phenomenal. I know, again, talked about the vocals being a little bit quiet sometimes. I don't know if that's like an EQing thing, or if it's just because of, aside from the vocals being a little bit quiet sometimes, in my personal opinion, again, with different headphones, it might not be the case. And given the quality of the recordings for the guitar, bass, and drums, I think it could just be these headphones. Everything else was spot on. It was professional. I think it's radio ready, and radio friendly. You know, why should people be listening to this stuff? There is not. I mean this genuinely. There is not enough of this kind of music out there in the mainstream, dude. Like, I'd happily listen to a radio station that had this all the time instead of like Dua Lipa and that kind of stuff. I don't think they're necessarily bad musicians. You know, it's just, this is more interesting to me, personally. Finally, I suppose, with Kavalkade's Deathwish, I think this is a really promising first impression, and I really hope that they continue to put out more music in future and continue to develop their craft, their style, their sound, and I really hope that they just feel proud of what they've accomplished with this track, because they ought to. Well done. But effectively, this is my review of Kavalkade's Deathwish. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this music, and if you enjoyed this video, please do go show Kavalkade some love via their various social medias, and I think they'll be on Spotify and all that kind of stuff. But stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.